In studio with the Admiral Bill Stubblefield. Billy.
Good morning, Rob. Great to be here. Interesting guests again, as always.
Mr. Bill Kearns.
Morning.
Good to have you both with us.
Great to be here with you.
Bill is in the Maria Lorensen seat because Maria Lorensen is not in a seat.
Well, she might be.
She's moving.
Well, I'm sitting.
She's a walker. Yeah, she's in Portugal, too. Maria, good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. It is great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you are. Are you in Spain or Portugal right now? Which one is it?
Actually, I'm in Spain. I'm in the shadow of the Cathedral de Santiago. So we got here about an hour and a half ago after traversing 7 days worth of hills and valleys, 100 kilometers, which is 65 miles or so. Just an incredible journey, Rob. Just beautiful scenery, people, the circumstances. It's about 68 degrees, bright sunshine, lots of other pilgrims here with us. So, yeah. All good.
You're at the now. Is this the cathedral that you sent us pictures of?
I did,
okay.
But I got to tell you, I can't really identify things because I can't. My Wi-Fi is not letting me log on to Facebook. I'm just talking to you, so you'll just have to guess at what we're doing. So
that's fine, Colin. Yeah. If you bring up those pictures inside and outside of the cathedral, if you don't mind, Colin, that'd be great, so our audience can see. That's the exterior, and then the interior, which is pretty impressive here, is the next picture Colin is going to bring up.
It is very impressive, and of course, this was the walk of the Camino is the walk of St. James the Greater, and so we went in, and before we got our little, not passports, but the little booklet that they give you, before we got that stamp to assure that we did all 100 kilometers, you go up and give St. James a big hug around the neck. So we did that today, too. So it's been quite a day. Of course, it's 3:38 in the afternoon right here now. So
tell us about what do you know about the St. James walk and the significance of it?
He made this walk supposedly, many, many years ago, clearly to Santiago, and it was a pilgrimage, which is what we, myself and two college girlfriends decided to do. We decided, first off, can we do this? And I have to tell you, it's sort of the mini walk of all the things that you can do, because it's 100 kilometers. Now you can do the French version, which is like 360 kilometers. We could have started in Porto, Portugal. That would have been a little bit longer than what we did. I think it was 240. So you can go the Walk of Spain, the Walk of Portugal, along the coast, France. So there are many people who do this walk, pilgrims from everywhere across the world, really. And I think what's been really interesting is just sort of bumping into people along the way. So you walk a certain way and you try and be very, speedy about your walk. Early in the day, we're very speedy, but by about 2 or 3 o'clock, we're kind of tired. So you might see people that you saw either the day before or the day after. And I think I told you, Rob, this is kind of a picky walk because we have somebody who takes our baggage from place to place. So we're not out in the elements every night, which is what some pilgrims do. They take everything on their back, spend the night either in a hostel or out in the wilderness. Yeah, we didn't do that. So, yeah, but it's been great.
So
it's a pretty incredible experience.
So one of the most searched for questions on this walk, Maria, is how do you go to the bathroom on the Camino walk?
Well, It is, so there are plenty of cafes, bars, and the woods along the way. And I have to tell you, with my two friends, everybody sort of had certain things that they need to bring. Like, okay, I'm going to bring Band-Aids and lamb's wool and Neosporin, and somebody else's, I'm going to bring toilet paper. So let me just say that sometimes when nature calls, you kind of go to nature to handle that call.
Rob, there's a reason why it's so green. The pictures that you're seeing on the screen, it's the reason they're green.
Quite plush.
Yeah, it really is. And, without going into a whole lot of detail, sometimes, you try to get off of the main trail. So you're not, like, showing God and all of his creatures all of your stuff. So you go to the side, but then you've seen there are people before you who did that just as well.
Be careful where you walk.
Yeah, Maria.
That's enough information.
Exactly.
Yeah, Maria, carrying this
Thank
one.
you.
Yeah, carrying this one step forward. Last week, Larry Schultz was in. He'd gotten into poison ivy. Have you gone through poison ivy identification?
I certainly hope not, because one of my friends because I think I've told you, Bill, I have really high allergy to poison ivy, and she sort of looked out for me. But the other thing that I found an allergy to, which I had no idea, because they tell you, wool is the best thing to wear for your feet, because Camino, it's all about the feet, because you're walking, one day we walked 14 miles, one day we walked 10. Today was a shorter day. We were 9 to get here. But, they say get wool socks. So I got wool socks, and I had this terrible allergy up around my ankles. And so I went to a pharmacia, and woman there handed me kind of a Benadryl cream, what have you. Took care of me in 2 days or so, but I wasn't wearing the wool socks. And then yesterday, when we stopped at a cafe, there was a woman from, I want to say she was from London, maybe, and she said, look at my feet. I think that I am allergic to wool. And I took out my Benadryl cream, and I said, here, use this.
Oh, like a
she was
doctor.
like, oh, thank you so much. And I think that's the other thing you find. People try and help each other. It's just kind of like, oh, my feet are killing me. Do you need Band-Aids? Do you need Neosporin? Do you need toilet paper? Well, not that. But yeah, that too. So that's been kind of a really very cool experience. It's just how wonderful people are, both along the route and in the little cities that we've stayed in. So
Maria,
it's been good.
Maria,
Really
you're in great shape. You exercise all the time. Are your colleagues? Has your colleagues any difficulty in completing the trip, or the folks along the way? Or do they have problems?
Well, we tried to really do, and I think I've told you this, Bill Stubblefield, is that I tried to train, and believe it or not, I took off from my quote-unquote exercise class and then tried to walk several days a week, 8 to 10 miles, just so that it wouldn't be as arduous for me. And I got to say, my colleagues have done a great job. Now, admittedly, there have been a couple times where I'm up ahead and looking behind, and they say, we're coming, Maria. So, but we all, we're all in really good shape, I think, physically, and our feet, which is what people told us, just be cognizant of the feet and, taking good care of those, and we have. So we're in good shape.
Maria, how long has this been on your bucket list to be able to do?
Oh my gosh! Well, a couple so years, Bill Kearns, and then I've got this one friend who was with us who is an incredible trip planner, and we have gone with her to Spain before. We have gone to France. We have gone to Italy. And she's like, hey, what do you guys think? And I said, oh, my gosh, I'm in. I would love to do this. And Bill Stubblefield, this is something that our good friends Scott Widmeyer and Alan Yount did actually last fall. And when we were talking to them at my daughter's wedding last year about this trip, they said, yeah, we found this one group that could really plan the whole thing for you, which again, you know, sort of bougie hiking kind of thing. And we just locked into this group. It's called, you know, kind of a weird little advertisement here, followthecamino.com. And, you know, they really set it up for us. So, but it wasn't that expensive. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm looking.
You know, they take care of the food. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the map now, and it appears at your last stop. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've completed the journey.
We have completed the journey. So tomorrow, we haven't decided, because one of the things that, besides hugging the neck of St. James, one of the things that you want to do is do the Pilgrim's Mass, and there's one at 7:30 tonight and like 9:30 tomorrow. So we actually spend the night in Santiago tonight, and we haven't decided if we're going to do the Mass tonight, because one of the things they do is they have a record of who has come in that particular day, and they sort of talk about these are the people who have completed the Camino today, you know, from West Virginia, from Colorado, from Washington, D.C., so you don't want to miss the Mass. So we're spending the night here, doing the Mass either tonight or tomorrow morning, and then we head to Madrid, and we finish our journey, and we fly out of Madrid on Saturday morning.
Maria, it sounds like it's pretty busy around where you are and pretty happy, too. Are there many people on these trails at the same time you are?
Yes, there are, but it's interesting because you can go as fast, as slow as you want. So we stayed the first night with a group of 4 Brits, and we ran into them because, you know, you're kind of walking the same pace, whatever. And they told us after the third day that they decided to start later in the day because the trail, so to speak, is a little less busy later in the day, because most people get up, have their breakfast, and go. And depending on how fast you walk and how many miles you're doing that day, you can be done by 2 or 3. Admittedly, we had some 3 to 4 days when we didn't finish until later in the afternoon. But some of the trail is a little arduous. Like day 2, we walked up and then we walked down. And so you think to yourself, oh, down is not that hard. Down is very hard. So, you know, so it just kind of depends. And then the third day, we walked through what we called miles of muck. And it was rainy. Apparently the week before we got here was very, very rainy. We had very little rain. Somebody on high was looking after us, but it was not rainy very much at all. But the third day was also difficult because there were lots of kind of brambles and wet that you walked through. But I would recommend it to anybody. All of you could certainly do it, and people do it for different reasons, spiritual reasons. People do the walk in memory of others. We met an Irishman who pulled out his wallet, Rob, and showed us 3 pictures of loved ones that he's lost in the past year, and he said, I'm taking them along with me. it was very touching.
Sure.
To hear why people do this, so it was neat. Neat.
Rob, excuse me, Maria, you survived the national blackout. What happened to when all the electricity went out?
Oh my gosh! So we were in Porto that day, and we were taking a tour of Porto with a guide. And I have to tell you, Bill, she was nonplussed by the whole thing. She was just like, oh, yes, the electricity's out. And of course we're looking at the BBC who's saying, this could be 72 hours. And we're thinking, oh, my gosh, how are we going to get through 72 hours? But it was very interesting. We found a place that had an outside cafe/bar. I have to tell you, we ate a lot of cheese and ham that day because nobody was preparing food, right? So we were outside, and it was very interesting, unlike America, where everything goes on at once, right? When you've had a blackout or whatever, all the power comes on at once. You could see little pockets of places that came back on. So we were admittedly a little nervous, but it took care of itself. So there you go.
Maria, thank you very much for your time today and all the insights you gave us on this walk. This was, I'm sure, a pretty amazing experience for you and your friends.
Thank you. And we will talk more when I'm back in town next week.
Safe travels back.
Anxious to see you, Maria.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Absolutely. Maria Lorensen, a very active area where she is right now, too. Sounds like a lot of folks having a good time on that walk.
It's surprising the number of people that made that hike. I was unfamiliar with it until Maria started talking about it, and since then, 5, 6, 7 people have mentioned they have been on it. All of them just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie The Way with Martin Sheen, it basically is about that walk and his own story with. I don't want to give away too much on the movie itself, but it's quite the movie. I recommend it strongly. Yeah.